And that was it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OSINT Curious Project's live stream. I am one of the hosts. I'm Micah Hoffman. Welcome, welcome. And I'm thrilled to be joined here by my two compadres. We've got John TerBush. Hey, John.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, good.
Good. And also we have Stephen Harris.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's nice to have you. And if you are out there in listener or viewer land, our information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or it's in the notes section of the video or podcast that you are listening and viewing. The information that you might need are our website, osintcurio.us, our user handle, OSINTCurious, and the link to our Discord, which is in the notes section or showing on the screen. The Discord is a great free place for you to come and talk with us and talk with a lot of other people. I think we have over 7,000 members across the world. So great community that we've built there. Also, as always, we need to make sure that we can keep the lights on. So if you can throw us $1 a month or anything like that, or your company wants to sponsor us, there's the Patreon patron page down there, or you can reach out to us for sponsorship opportunities. We are thrilled to be here on Twitch, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Look at this. We have a lot of really cool people here. We've got Purple and Jenna. We've got some longtime viewers here.
Justin's out there.
Yeah, Justin Seitz, who was on a live stream with you earlier, right, TerBush?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Access OSINT. We've got all these people on there. And if you are out there and you want to say hello to us or participate in the conversation, just toss your comments into the notes or the comment section of your platform, whatever one you're on. Hey, Lord Marcus. Awesome. It's been a long time since we've seen you. So today, John, Stephen, and I are going to talk with you about some OSINT skills. We've got a collection that we've pulled from recent events. And then we're going to go into about a half hour of playing Geoguessr, which I know that's something that I like, and I think that's something that many of you like too. You ready to go, John, Stephen?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start out with our OSINT Curious page, where we have a new blog post by Technizet, and that is Saving Facebook. Great blog post, been well received. Then, John, we actually saw this in, I think, Sector 035's Week in OSINT. What is this?
This is something that Sector said was a resource that Tom Jarvis shared that he looked through, and this was one of the resources.
This is Travel Time?
This is called Travel Time. And the idea behind this and some other similar tools that I've seen is that you can get a supposedly close estimate for time of travel between one point to another geographically. And the use cases for these, I mean, obviously it can be used for marketing and things like that. But for an OSINT person, you know, the one that pops to mind for me is, hey, maybe you have some testimony or a witness said that something occurred. Does it fit into the timeline that someone could have traveled from point A to point B in X amount of time? And I think I want to point out that you really have to treat these things carefully. These are estimates based on algorithms that I don't have the details for, and you don't have the details for, most likely. Certainly when I've looked at them, like here we're looking at Tysons, Virginia, which is a place that I used to have an office in. I commuted by bike there for several years. And I have a pretty good feeling for at least for how long it takes me to say travel some of these distances on a bike, and they're way off. I mean, and I'm faster than maybe the average bicyclist. I raced mountain bikes at the amateur level a couple of years, so I'm not slow, but it's way off. Like the timing, there's a couple issues. One, the timing is slow. So if you relied on this, or something like Google Maps, and you're looking at this, and you're like gonna try to say some testimony or some information is false based on this, you're probably gonna be off. So just be really careful with these tools.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to show. Is you're absolutely right, John. I mean, these are grain of salt tools, right? Where
Yeah,
you have to look
yeah,
at it and go, it could work. Over in the DC region, many of you know that there is one bridge that goes over here between Maryland and Virginia. It's called the American Legion Bridge, and at this time it's 4 o'clock. Anywhere from like 2:30 until 7 at night, that is just gridlocked, and you can see it's just like all red here, or black almost, meaning that the traffic just isn't moving. So the fact that right now, if we were to drive, we could go all this distance in 30 minutes, that is not happening at all.
yeah.
So,
And another thing, the algorithm clearly is just based on distance and an estimate of time, and
yeah.
it also doesn't take into account topography. Like
Hmm.
right here, if you look to the south of where Tyson's is marked there, you're kind of on a plateau. So as you're leaving that area and going south, you're going pretty fast because you're going down hills on, say, a bicycle, or even if you're walking, it's easier than walking uphill.
Does it change depending on traffic levels and things like that?
It does not seem to. I
Okay.
played around with it a little bit. But if you took this measurement for bike and then you turned it around and went uphill from, a point on the bottom, it doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
So, use these things as maybe a very rough estimate. They're cool tools if you should need to do something like that, but I would just say don't rely on these too heavily.
Yeah, they're ballpark tools, right?
Yeah.
There's actually Josh Huff. He was on here a while ago, and he mentioned that he was running some estimates for when, for how far some people could have driven in a stolen car, and it was like 30 minutes. And he didn't use this tool, but he used one off of like view map tools or something like that. And I mean, it was all an estimate because it doesn't take into account the traffic or the elevation also.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
That's all I have to say. I'm not trying to drag these or anything. Just, use them cautiously.
Right. So I don't know if y'all have seen this. This is by the awesome person, Sinwindie. Steven, have you seen this tool yet?
I have not seen this particular site. I have seen some of Sinwindie's attack diagrams that he's done in the past, and they are awesome. So that they're all together in one place like this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that, Stephen. Sinwindie has done a great job of actually linking these up. So it's much more. I think it's much more useful than the GitHub repository that he has with a PDF of this and a PDF of that. He's taken a lot of time. For instance, here if we just
let's click into one.
Yeah, let's go into email. This is the typical attack surface diagram. Let me make it bigger here. So this is the typical attack surface diagram that you would see on his GitHub page. But these things are hyperlinkable. So hyperlinkable? Yeah, we'll just call it that. So like if you're over here and you're like, oh, well, let's look at this. Ooh, we could exploit this as a username. Now you click over here and you go to the username attack surface. So it makes it a lot more usable. This is still not a process diagram. Don't get me wrong. This is not a do this, do that when you get into an email account. But this is more like what are the things that you should collect? And it really is useful, and it's a great usability thing that he's done here. So kudos to him. Now, one of the things that we were also talking about when Steven and I tweeted out, said, hey, we're going to be doing this live stream. Somebody said, actually, I think it was Theo, wasn't it? I'm going to pull that up. It was Theo Baxter. Yeah. Theo Baxter said, hey, what about data scrapers? And I immediately thought of this new site that I've seen where you can click on it and have it grab photos off of some website. It's called extract.pics, and I'm not promoting this site. I don't know who owns this. You should always do your due diligence before using something in a case, but you enter in a URL and it visits the site for you, not in your browser. And then it extracts the images. And it shows you the images. And right now I'm showing what happened when I searched OSINT Curious, his webpage for this with this tool. And here we have each of the different images that is on the OSINT Curious webpage. And as I scroll down, we've got things like this. We can blow it up. We can download it. Here I'm getting a larger view of it. We can invert the background, copy the URL to it, and more. I think it makes some of the images that you might find on a page a lot more accessible.
Yeah, I think
But
it's really user friendly, you know, compared
yep.
to like some command line tools and stuff that some
Mm.
people may not want to mess with.
Yeah, I think the challenge will be is that it probably can't get into those restricted areas. So like if I want to scrape somebody's private Instagram or even Facebook, it probably is not going to be able to get on there. So one of the drawbacks, you're probably going to need to have something more public. And then, Stephen, you were going to actually share something, right?
Yeah, on the subject of data scraping, just let me share my screen. 1 second.
If you've been watching our stream at all, you'll know that we're big fans of one data scraper tool. Stephen, take it away.
Yeah, this is Instant Data Scraper, which we have probably, I'm sure we have talked about it before, but the reason we keep coming back to it is because it just makes life so much easier when you're gathering data from the web. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of how it works. So,
Hey, Stephen.
yeah.
Sorry for pausing you here. We got a couple of questions here. Jenna
Okay.
asks, I just want to cover these while we're here. Otherwise, we're going to get into Instant Data Scraper. There's going to be questions about that. Jenna asks, is scraping permitted on Instagram? The answer is no, it's not. It does violate the terms of service. But as OSINT people and as data archivists, many times we need to record what we see on a certain website. So these tools help us by visiting the site in like the extract pics, creates a virtual browser, loads all the images, then shows it to us. This tool here again is going to be using Stephen's browser to visit the website, so it's as if he actually visited the site. So,
and we are not attorneys. This is not legal advice.
That's right. That's right. Thanks, Stephen. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. That's a really good question, actually. So Instant Data Scraper, it only works in Chrome. So if you like to work in Firefox, unfortunately, it doesn't work in Firefox at all, but it works in Chrome. And it's a Chrome extension, which you can just see in the top right of my browser up here. It looks like a little Pokemon ball, this little red and white symbol here. And that's Instant Data Scraper. And what it does is Instant Data Scraper looks for tables, layouts of data on any given web page, and it will basically scrape that for you. So if your OSINT work involves gathering information from websites that in a way that's very repetitive, like lists of Twitter followers or lists of Facebook friends, things like that, Instant Data Scraper will automate a lot of that for you. So I'll show you what it looks like and how we can make it work best for us. So you go to the page that you want, which in this case, this is the Twitter account of Manchester City Football Club. And we click up here and we get this pop-up menu. And you can see here the main news feed here, the main Twitter feed is highlighted with this red square around it, which shows the area that it's going to scrape. So every web page works slightly differently. And what you'll notice with Twitter, for example, is that if you scroll down a Twitter feed, it will just load forever and forever and forever. It will keep going and keep going. So what we need to make sure we're doing with Instant Data Scraper is turning on this infinite scroll option. Otherwise, it will only scrape the few 3-4 tweets you can see on the page. But if you want all of them, and it's an infinite scrolling page, like a Facebook feed as well, for example, we need to tick this option here. So we tick infinite scroll, and then we'll just tell Instant Data Scraper to start crawling and watch what happens.
It's actually taking control of your browser.
Yeah, it has. My hands are off. It's going through
hands.
the Twitter feed and capturing every single post as far as it goes. And you can see in the console window here, every tweet, it's adding to what is going to be a CSV file. And this will go on and on and on and on. There's about 150,000 tweets on this account, so we're not going to gather all of them because that would not make for an exciting webcast. So we'll tell it to stop crawling by clicking up here. So we'll pause it right there. But you can see this is going to be a CSV file. So what Instant Data Scraper has done, it has gone through all the HTML on the page and picked out the tweet content, the URLs, and arranged them by content type here. So we have one URL here, which is the main account URL. We have links to the images. We have the actual content of the tweets, which will be very important for us. Links to other emoji images that are in each tweet. You see a lot of, we have dates. We have
Steven,
locations. Yep.
At the top of the columns, like one of them says replies there, but the other one says CSS4RT. Can you explain what that CSS4RT is and what does it mean?
Yeah, so a web page is broken up into different sections, and the way a web page is sort of held together, as it were, is with a coding language, I guess, called CSS. CSS tells the browser how the web page should be laid out. And when you see CSS, then this random string of letters, CSS4RB, that's a little section of the page that it's found. It doesn't try to guess what it is. So it knows this column here. It knows they are replies because it's figured out their replies. It knows that these are retweets. It doesn't know what this is. It's just telling you how the web page describes itself. So when you see CSS, that just means that's just relating to a little part of the web page. So you've got retweets and likes. And what we can do, if we don't know what some of these things, or if you don't know what they are, so this one says CSS 901 AO11, I think these is possibly tweet content. So if I want to be a little bit clearer about that, I can actually edit this header myself by deleting it and just put content. And then there's also a lot of links here that I don't want. I don't need, for example, this table full of dots. So I can click on a cross here, think this doesn't really help me at all. It's not useful data. I click cross and it will remove that column. So that will not be in my final CSV. And you can see it's gone on and it's collected all these different data types here. And we could do this for a followers list, or following lists. We can do it for Facebook friends lists, things like that. Any web page you can think of that has a fairly formal structure, you can scrape the data on. So when we're done and we've got it all set up the way we want, click on CSV and it will download all that content as a CSV. You see here, I could have removed more data from this. But you see now we've got a spreadsheet to work with all these headers at the top and all the actual content from the web page. So if you think for a moment back to the original question that we were asked, how can I automate my social media intelligence gathering? This saves a lot of time. So I don't know about you, Mike and John, like how long would it take you to capture that manually, like with screenshotting? Like,
I mean,
I feel like we're on QVC or something. I don't know, Stephen. For me, it would take a long time. This is a long, arduous process.
I mean,
this
if you're
looks like it'll
talking
be
about
better.
20, 30,000 images or whatever, I don't know, half an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take days.
Yeah, it's a sort of thing that really is too tedious and too time consuming to do manually. I have shown this tool to a few intelligence analysts over the past couple of years, and it absolutely blows their mind. Like these are people who've been doing OSINT like copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Oh, there's a one-click tool which will do that for you. So this is why we love Instant Data Scraper, because it's a really fantastic tool, and it seems to work on most websites, I think.
It does, and it works on websites where you don't necessarily see an HTML table, right? A table is really easy to see, but when it's really just that formatted data, if it can see like rows of data or something like that, it'll pull that out and do it. Stephen, one of the questions that came up was, how is this similar or different than our sponsor Hunchly and their product?
So it's kind of it's similar to what Hunchly does on one level, but Hunchly does an awful lot more. So Instant Data Scraper will pull out bits of the web page that you tell it to. Hunchly is far more automated. So Hunchly will do all that as you're browsing. So you just go click link, browse, browse, browse. And Hunchly is gathering everything in the background. Hunchly will do what we've just seen there. It will scrape data for you. But Hunchly is much broader and probably more powerful in terms of what it can do.
I mean, the data scraper is a bit of a one-trick pony, but it does that trick really, really well. Right?
Yeah, I like that, John. It's like a specialist tool. I want to download stuff. And really, I mean, a lot of people think that they have to learn Python, they have to get into these really advanced scrapers, and sometimes you do. But sometimes we can just throw something in our browser. And the benefit of having Instant Data Scraper in our browser is that if you're authenticated to Instagram, Facebook, some other place, VK, whatever, it's going to use your cookies or your sock puppets cookies to do all of the accessing of data that you need. And that's why one of the other things that Stephen didn't show you, but was right above that infinite scroll, well, actually below it was timeouts. You may want to have the spider, the application slow down a little bit. So instead of just scrolling down and capturing and scrolling down and capturing, it'll scroll down and wait a few seconds. It increases the amount of time it takes to do the scraping, but you're less likely to get a notice for doing, well, web scraping.
Or get blocked.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not so great because we'll lose access. Cool. And Instant Data Scraper is free. It's made by webrobots.io. Again, not a sponsor of the show or anything, but just they make an awesome free tool that is it's just awesome. I mean, once I figured out, like you showed, Stephen, that you can rename the column headers in the tool before you export it, saves me so much trouble, because then in my CSV, everything is named by what I think the data is. Really, really helpful. Cool. All right. So that's any questions about Instant Data Scraper, throw it into the chat. Aside from that, we thought that we'd maybe tackle one other thing. I did something today. It was just a real quick thing. There was a question about about Google Tag Manager and the Google Universal Analytics codes. A lot of people probably know. Let's just see. I love this example. It's so great. So this is a website for those. Yeah, sure. I'll accept all your cookies. For those of you on a podcast, one of the things that we sometimes do is we do demos. I'm at Match.com's page here. Right-clicking and viewing page source, I can see the HTML source code of the page, and I can do a find for UA dash. And I can come up with the Universal Analytics code for Google. This is the code that Google has given the owner of Match.com and said, put this in your site, and then we can track who comes to this site versus your other dating sites. What Google has said recently is that UA code is going away. Now, it's not going to be removed from the internet in an instant, but what we'll find is that people will be migrating from the Universal Analytics codes, the UA dash, to ones that are Google Tag Manager or GTMs. And the GTMs are something that, well, there aren't those tools that specifically have been capturing them and noting them like some of the other dedicated tools have for the UA codes. The thing that we can do is use tools like Censys.io that captures and will allow you to search that HTML page response. So we know that when our browser makes a request to a site, in the source code of the page that comes back to us, it says UA dash and then has a value like we just saw, or it has a GTM dash and has a value. And that value we can then look up and see what other pages have it. So what I did was I started using Censys.io, which is a free tool that I always suggest people use. It's just an amazing free tool that scans the internet daily and catalogs all of these different pieces of data that come back. Now I'm logged in as a free account, and I suggest that you get a free account too, because anonymous accounts only are allowed 10 queries per IP per day, which is not a lot. So register for a free account. And then as you come over here and you click on like the host field, this is at search.censys.io. As you click on the page, you'll notice down below here we can enter an IP, a host name, and then we have all of these different kind of query terms, operating system stuff, location. And if we scroll down, we get into some of the service specific pieces of data like TLS, the transport layer security. We keep going down, we see TLS, here's software. And one of the things that we can do is tell it when it is when it's gone out and collected data from some web page, show me services.http. HTTP is the hypertext transfer protocol that web pages use when we send and receive data. And you see the very first one, the request body down here. So it's services.http.request.body. And what you could say is, hey, in that, I want you to look for some piece of data like underscore set account. And then you can also do it again and say, hey, in addition, well, and let's just run that. Oh, it didn't find anything there. Let's just see. Hang on. Oh, you know why? Because it's not the request body. It's the response body. Yes, yes. I know people are saying, Micah, live demos. So my browser sends a request to the web page. The response coming back from the website is what we want them to look at. And you can see, if you're looking at the video, you can see that we've got 102,000 responses that have that underscore set account in the page. Now that underscore set account is something that Google gives you when and says, hey, put this along with your UA code. So all I'm going to do is add an and to this. I'm going to add an and then say, hey, also show me service HTTP response body with a UA dash. And when I do that, we have 100,000 requests or 100,000 responses. And you can now see in the page we have UA dash and then some number. That's the universal analytics code. And that's the first part. It's like, all right, we can do this. We can look in the source code of the page that's coming back. So all we have to do is change those UA dash and the set account to something else to take advantage of the Google Tag Manager codes. So here I've done the exact same thing, the response body, and I've put GTM dash and dataLayer. And when we do these two things together, we get 339,000. And you could see we have the GTM and then this alphanumeric value after it. We can combine this with other types of queries and other requests. Here's a GTM test site. Here's some more data that's coming back. If we pair this with some host names like starlink.com or tesla.com, we may be able to harvest that data that Censys has already collected with Google Tag Manager IDs in them. And for those of you that are like, wow, those are kind of cool queries, throw them in the chat. I will throw them in the chat in just a second and you'll be able to get it. Also, we'll put it in the notes on the YouTube video here. All right. And this is one of the other things that I love. I don't know, Stephen, John, I think you two also like doing this, is that we can just go to a tool like Censys and type in a keyword like starlink.com, or we can actually learn the search language and be even more powerful. Do you ever find yourself doing that on some tools?
Yeah, I mean, just taking Censys itself, there's a lot of search capability there. You can really find other things, not just in the source code, which is great. You can do stuff like tracking maybe mage cart type actors and other things if you're doing threat intel. But a lot of these tools, if you kind of learn the language to do these searches, you can really find some cool things and track things over time too.
Yeah, it's the same with Shodan as well. You have to remember these Censys Shodan, they're very, very powerful, but they're not quite like Google where you can just throw any search term in and you'll find whatever. You have to use their query language. But if you do, it's insane some of the things that they found. Sometimes that people don't want to be found, like ransomware group servers, like onion sites. You can find those in Censys if you know the keywords to look for. They're out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Access OSINT, one of our longtime viewers and listeners, brings up an excellent point that, learning to use those advanced operators with wildcards Using Boolean queries like I use the and, it allows you to actually do deeper queries on many systems, whether it's Google or, as Access mentions here, dehashed as well, dehashed the breach data site. Now, Stephen, you mentioned dark web and Censys, and Purple asks, wait a second, is Censys able to see the dark web? What do you think?
The short answer is yes. It's a bit more complicated than that. But in terms of how we access the dark web in a web browser, we have to use a dedicated browser like Tor. The actual servers underneath are using the same technology. They're connected to the same internet with the same protocols. Like infrastructure wise, they share a lot of they share infrastructure with the regular web. The reason they are visible on things like Censys and Shodan is because it's really hard to configure a dark web server properly in a way that means you're not going to be found. And when people make configuration mistakes or they configure their darknet server like a regular web server, it leaks onto the regular web in the same way as everyone else. And it's to run a darknet website successfully and really truly hide it is really difficult. And people make mistakes. So yeah, they're out there for sure.
So to give props where they're due, because I always like to do that, one of the first times I actually had that aha moment of, wait a second, darknet resources are sometimes, especially Tor, are sometimes searchable on the surface web, was when this guy, Justin Seitz, I don't know if you've heard of him, he did a dark web webcast live stream with his Hunchly tool, and he showed some things. One of the things that he showed was using Censys. Instead of looking at hosts, he was looking at those TLS certificates, the encryption certificates that are found on websites. And he said, listen, if we can look at the certificates and look for ones that have names in there of that are parsed and have a .onion, then we know that that certificate is actually used for a system or could be used for a system on the dark web as well. And it was like the infrastructure, like you said, Stephen, is there serving things on both the surface web and the dark web. So
because
great.
they're there on the internet, it's just the link to them that's
Yeah.
the tricky part, right?
Yeah, accessing it. Yeah, cool. Census has a huge amount of other things. Stephen, you mentioned Shodan. Maybe next the webcast, maybe the next live stream will go deeper into Census and Shodan and all the cool things we can do there, because that's like an hour in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Jenna asks, has OSINT Curious covered search operators in Google Dorking? We might have one of those in some of our blog posts on osintcurio.us or in our 10-minute tip videos. We have short videos that are 10 minutes long, and they are on YouTube, and they are absolutely free. And we may have one in there that will help you out. If not, Jenna, let us know. Send us an email, ping us on Discord, and we'll absolutely see about making one. Yeah. Access OSINT asks about a restriction on the amount of queries the free Censys has. And just so everybody knows, if you're watching this, you've seen Censys now spelled 9 different ways. Censys is CENSYS.io. So is there a number of restriction? If you have an anonymous account, meaning that you're not logged in and you're just a random person querying, you get 10 queries per IP address per day. If you log in with a free account, then I haven't hit the limit of the number of
I
queries.
think there is a rate limit, but it's much greater than that.
Yeah, maybe like 250 or something like that. I'm just making that up, but probably something big. Yeah, cool, awesome. Stephen, John, anything else you want to talk about, or should we get into Geoguessr?
No, and I'm going to leave you two alone. I'm going to drop off so you guys can, geolocate things in private.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on, John. Appreciate you spending some time with us here.
Yep. I'll see you guys later. Thanks
good
to
to see you,
everyone
John.
for joining us too. Bye.
Take care, John. So if you are just joining us, we're at about half hour into this. I'm Micah. This is Stephen. We are part of the OSINT Curious Project. Details about our project is streaming across the bottom of the screen right now. But our website, our handle, our Patreon page, all of that is something that you'll be able to find in the show notes on YouTube if you are, or in your favorite podcast application. All right. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into this now. Stephen, have you been here since we've played Bullseye?
I have not. I have not done Geoguessr for so long. So when we talk, so we're going to do Bullseye. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I hope you can explain.
Okay. All right. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, one of the things that I love doing is playing this game called Geoguessr. You might have seen other TikTok people or YouTubers playing Geoguessr. Essentially, it's a free game at geoguessr.com. I'll throw it into the chat there. Geoguessr.com, you can play for free with no account, or you created an account and you can actually, no, you have to have an account to play. So you play for free with a free account, or you pay them like $20 per year and you can play unlimited numbers of time. This is the cool thing, that it uses Google Street View imagery and photospheres to set up kind of a game where you have to guess where in the world you are. So it'll put you in a place, in a town or a country, and you have to figure out where you are. And you can't do certain things within the interface. So you can't just look down and see, oh, I'm on whatever Strasse in Austria. It doesn't show you that. So you have to use clues. And I love how we work through a process and do stuff. Now, typically what we've done is we have played it where I play it and you all send me guesses and all, but they have implemented this really cool collaborative feature where we can play together. So if you have a geoguessr.com account and you want to play with us, in just a moment, I'm going to paste onto the screen a URL. And that URL is one that you can visit and you can join our game and you can play with us instead of just watching us play. Now, the way that Bullseye, this collaborative game works, is very simple, actually. I'm going to go ahead and play with friends. I'm going to go into my Terrific Thursday game. I'm going to go ahead and join this Bullseye game. Now, this is the instructions that are appearing on the screen. First off, what we do is we try to guess a certain area. Like this is a game where we have to choose like the exact place where we are in the game. And if we guess the exact place and we use a big circle, we might only get 1,000 points. The smaller the circle, the more points we get. Now, I can guess in a certain area and be like, oh, I think we're in the UK, and I can put a circle almost that covers the entire UK, and I can earn 1,000 points. And then Steven, if he has his account up and running in the game, then he can go, okay, well, that's over in Leeds. And then he clicks over there with a smaller circle and he earns us maybe 4,000 points instead of my 1,000. And it's actually really neat that we can do that. We can change the circle sizes and teleport. So if you want to play, here's the URL. Let's see. Let me scroll down. I will copy that URL, paste it. Now, this is probably only going to go out to those people in YouTube and Twitch, because we can't just throw a comment into LinkedIn right now. Oh, it looks like Marcus is here. Nice. That was quick. All right. Waiting for 4 other people or 60 seconds. Now, what we're going to do is we'll all get in the game. Then we can see where we are in the world, and one of us can say, hey, I think we're here. We can even ping on the map. We can teleport to each other's locations. And so we'll use the chat to figure out where we are. Oh, I've got another person. We'll just call you GC. Zopeto. All right. This is actually turning out to be a really good game. All right. There will be a little bit of a delay here. That's just by me live streaming, so I'll try to go slow. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do a countdown. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Here we go. So, if you're not playing with us directly, use the comments here to try to figure out and to try to let us know where you think we are. All right. So you can see Lord Marcus, Zepeto, and GC are in this as well. We need to find as close of a point to where we are in the world. I'm looking around. I see some stone buildings. I see a dirt road. I see electric poles. Let's just
Okay,
head down here.
First thought, this kind of looks like Southern Europe, maybe.
Well, the sun's coming from the south, so
Yeah.
we would be in the northern hemisphere. That makes sense. Now, if you're playing with me, so, oh, wow, somebody already got 500. Somebody already got 2,000. Holy cow. All right, let's take a look at the map and see where you all are guessing. See, they've already guessed this. All right, so here we've got Spain. So somebody guessed Spain, and somebody guessed Portugal. Let's see. All right, so you can see we've got 1,000 points already because some people already guessed. Cool. Oh, there we go. So Pedo guessed right. Nice. Let's see where you are. So Zopeto, you got 500 points. We can zoom in and change the size of this circle to like small, and that'll get us 3,000 points. Oh, it looks like we're up here. Yeah, that's where you guessed up there. That's Lord Marcus up there. Okay. So Lord Marcus went up here and did a mini. So I could actually do a bullseye and get more points. All right, let's just see. So if I choose, let's see, where are you? Lord Marcus, you're over there? Oh, you haven't chosen yet. Haha. Lord Marcus is trying to figure it out. We have somebody over here. It's challenging. The interface is a little bit challenging. All right, Lord Marcus guessed right and is over here and did a small. So if I, or did a mini. So if I guess a bullseye, we could actually figure out exactly where we are. Let's just see. If I guess here, I was wrong. I did too small of a circle. All right, so you can see it's a little chaotic here. I'm trying to do the live streaming plus manage where everybody's guessed. GC can still figure it out. Now, normally we would play this game and we'd move up and down the road trying to figure out where we are. As you can see, some of our other people have already figured out that we were in Portugal based upon physical features. Stephen, you mentioned the brickwork that we saw, maybe some of these plants, the roofs of the buildings really felt like, you said Southern Europe?
Yeah.
And that's what we were seeing. So GC, you can choose where you think it is. Let's see. Let's see. So, but GC, you would need to choose like a bullseye and hit it right on. So I'm going to go ahead and say, GC, choose in like 5 seconds. Just choose a place and let's see. Oh, there we go. Zope says, or Zope says, you can tell it's Portugal because the electric poles are concrete with the holes going down. All right. So, Lord Marcus, you got us in the general right area, and you were actually very, very close to where we were.
That was really good.
Where we are. Nice. All right, let's do it again. Now, while my colleagues figure out exactly where we are, let's just go ahead and break down Geoguessr as a game. Here you can see we've got Street View. One of the first things I like doing is seeing where the sun is. Here the sun looks like it's coming from the north, right? So we can rule out half of the world because if the sun's coming from the north, we're probably in the southern hemisphere, all right? So southern hemisphere, dirt road. Looks like we've got a person on a bike pushing something like, I don't know, what is that? It's like a food cart?
A food
Ice
pot
cream man?
and a loudspeaker.
Yeah. Right? And it looks like we're driving on the right-hand side of the road, which is another thing that we can do. Also, the license plate here that I see is yellow. I know that Colombia has yellow license plates. I'm just going to go ahead and guess Colombia here just to see if I can be the first one to draw blood. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to do a large...
Colombia is like right on the equator as well, I think.
Yeah. So let's just see what we can do here. We'll do there. Yeah, it is Colombia. So I know that we're south of we're southern hemisphere. We see yellow license plates. Yellow license plate is one of those big Colombia things. And so what I've done is I've just localized it. Now my compadres that are also playing can refine the query and refine where it is. All right. Ooh. All
If you
right.
zoom
So
out a bit on the, I was going to see if you could zoom out and figure out where the equator is, and then we.
yeah, it's right here.
Okay, so and we think we're south of the equator, don't we? So,
No, actually we're in this circle, so we're just north of the equator.
okay.
Yeah. So it was close to South America and Southern Hemisphere. So it doesn't always work, but it worked in this case. So looking around, so while Zepeto and Lord Marcus are researching, let's take a look at what we see here. Oh, Lord Marcus guessed and was not correct.
Oh, there's a sign. We like signs. So give us
Yeah.
language.
So that's another thing that we can do is take this. I mean, this is definitely, we're in Colombia somewhere.
Yeah.
So now what we can do is take that Ferra Agricola. Ah, there we go. So I guess Colombia, and then it looks like Zepeto guessed a smaller circle over here in the western side of Colombia. Nice. Well done. Got 2,000 points. All right, let's take a look where we are now. We are driving on the right-hand side of the road. Sun is coming from the south, west. So probably northern hemisphere. We got mountains. I like going downhills. Zopi, we I don't know if it's Zopi or Zope. I know that the software that we used to use for websites was Zopi. So I'll just call you that. Usually about once a month, we stream doing this stuff. Sometimes a little bit more frequently. Let's see. Oh, Lamarcus, you saw that they were you're from Portugal, so it was easy. Okay. All right. So Lord Marcus actually got this. Let's see where he did it. Aha. So you said that we were over here in Montenegro area. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do a smaller, you did a medium circle. I'm going to do a small circle over here. Interesting. Do we see, So I guess one of the things that we can see here is that Montenegro has Cyrillic characters. Kosovo does not, I believe. Or, I'm sorry, not Kosovo. Albania does not. So let's take a look and see if we see something that would give us Cyrillic characters. License plates are long. Maybe have some blue over there. All right. I hate this version of the game where you travel so few kilometers on a single click. Here we have a typical European type of license plate, the long, narrow one. Nice. All right, Zepeto, you guessed. All right. So both of you guessed right in the same place at the same size. All right, well, let's see if we can figure this out a little bit more. Montenegro. All right. So Rodney, you say Montenegro. Why do you say Montenegro in the chat? And where in Montenegro? Because here we get more points the closer we are to the actual place.
So Rodney said the road between Niksik and Podgorica.
Okay. Let me just see if this truck has anything on it. Sometimes.
Oh, what does this say? Montefarm.
Montefarm, and it's a ambulance, maybe. Something. Hang on, let's see if we can go over. Oh, no, not that far. Yeah, not gonna be able to see.
He's from Montenegro.
From Montenegro. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So here's the place, and where is that other place? Podgorica?
Oh, there it is, to the northwest of Podgorica.
Right,
yeah, so it's on that road somewhere.
Here? All right, well, we'll do that. How's that?
That looks pretty good. You can't argue with local knowledge.
Hey, that is good.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Rodney. Appreciate it. Yeah, we were Actually, gosh, we could have done a bullseye. That was really close. Well done. All right, so we have 2 more rounds. Those of you that are wondering, how long will this go? 2 more rounds. All right, so we are in a place where we have yellow license plates and cars. I guess UN cars, maybe? The
Yeah, I
license
would say
plates
so.
look kind of that wide angle. Oh, though over here we have, I would say Colombia again. Oh wait, no, I would say Israel.
Israel.
I'm gonna say Israel. Let's head on over to Israel. I see. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, you're like, what? Yeah, some people have already seen that. Okay. Let's figure out where in Israel we are. I see Israeli
Next to the
flags
sea. If you turn around to your, is that the sea in the distance?
over there. It is water, but most of Israel is on the
Is next
water.
to sea. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, most of it is. So now that we've narrowed it down to Israel, we just have to figure out something that would tell us where in Israel, and there are signs. All right, so somebody guessed right. Oh, over here, we're close to Jerusalem, or Tel Aviv, or Ashkelon, somewhere in there. All right, let's see if we can see this. Oh, there's a sign up here. That's a road sign. Did I go too far? I did. See if we can go out in the road here and see this road sign. Not trying to make you all nauseous. All right, here we go. Click. And it says taxi.
Yep, I think that's taxi.
Yeah. All right, there's the sign that I wanted right over there. Hang on, let's see if we can get it. Come on. Ah, nope. I don't see any numbers over there. All right, so does the bus have something? Buses are sometimes great because they'll be like Tel Aviv Express or something. Of course, it might just be in Hebrew. Let's see, anybody recommend? Yeah, it definitely is Hebrew. There's an aquarium to the left. All right. This is the 48 bus, but again, I don't know what city. So I normally like playing like the country streak where you just have to guess the country. So this is a little bit more challenging because, oh, here's some street signs up here. Oh, somebody pinged the map.
Ooh,
All right, Lord
proper
Marcus
highway
is pinging the
sign.
map. All right, Lord Marcus, I got you. Here we go. Okay, I got you. I'll do a mini over here, okay? Well, actually, I think everybody. Oh, bullseye. I'll do a bullseye. Hey, that's it. Lord Marcus, you got it, man. Right near the airport.
Nice.
There you go. So we're right here. Yeah, here we've got some road signs that would give us, or this is, I guess, parking, telling you how many parking spots are available. Yeah. Yeah, we got 5,000 points. That's great.
Cool.
Look at all the confetti. All right, last round. Last round. We are doing this. Found a hotel with a city name. Googling it. Nice. Okay, here we are. We are in kind of the countryside. Sun is in the southern area. We see palm trees, or palm-like trees. Dirt road. Dirt? Did you say that's dirt?
So
I think
yeah,
it's probably paved. We see a church on the left. No name. Does this feel European to you, Stephen? What do you think?
I would no. I don't think I thought maybe like Central America, maybe,
I'm feeling almost like
or
it could
maybe
either
even
be like
Africa.
Asia or like Ecuador. You see these kind of fat-leaved, almost banana trees.
Yeah,
Let's see if
we
we can.
usually find like a banana plantation pretty quick. We're good at
Yeah.
that.
Well, the other thing that we could look for is like shrines. Here we have
Yeah.
corrugated roofs. We also look at the building materials. They're using wood probably gathered from that area for the fence, but we also have bricks and cinder blocks, so this is closer to like a city, I would imagine. Let's look at these people. I'd say maybe South America more than Asia. See if we can see anything else. One of the other tricks that we use to figure out where we are is to look at satellite dishes. Satellite dishes like what we see here, they point generally towards the equator. So if you see one pointing kind of straight up, you know you're pretty darn close to the equator. This one's pointed at a pretty shallow angle, and it's pointed, if I turn my thing, I'm pointing south, so we're probably in the northern hemisphere.
Lord Mockers has just mentioned a Mexican flag somewhere.
What? Well, hang on, let's see.
Was that up to
There's
the
one.
left? Yeah.
Is that a Mexican flag?
I think so.
I think it could. All right. So what do you think? So go ahead and hit the map. Let's see. We see a Pasco there. So if I had to guess where in Mexico, I would say,
Spanish language.
It does. All right. So I'm going to guess up here higher in Mexico. We're going to do a large. Let's do this. I'll just guess this. I'll get it wrong. There you go. I knocked out part of the country for you. All right. So you know it's not where I just clicked. All right. Now you all can focus south. Let's see where. The good thing about this is that we still can play. And this is what I like about this game is that, you know, there's always things that you can learn. Again, if we look at license plates, we have short license plates, the more North, Central, and South American type of aspect ratio. And let's see. So we saw the Mexican flag. Doesn't mean we're in Mexico, though. I've gotten tricked before. Let's see if we see. We did see some Spanish writing, though. All right. For those of you that have never played Geoguessr before, this is what we commonly do: is click. We point and we click. Here's a sign right up here. Hang on, there's a sign right up here. Oh, Bio 2A. What does that mean? Ooh, is this one of those development signs? I love these development signs.
Welcome to.
Yes.
Marcus Pana.
All right, so what do we got?
LEJ Bio.
Macuspana. Let's Macuspana. Ah, it's Tabasco, Mexico. All right. Macuspana. Let's see. So we are over kind of near.
Oh, it's right on the border with Guatemala, isn't it?
Right. So let's see. If you are, let's see, right over here. Let me ping the map. Ding. So like in this area. So I'm pinging the map for my colleagues. Let's see, Lord Marcus and GC. Oh, Lord Marcus got something. All right, good. So now GC, can you take us home? Can you get us even more points? I have to figure out exactly where we are in there. Oh, maybe this will help. Hang on. What's that? Deportivo de Baseball. Baseball. Hang on, let's go up. Muniz Cruz. I don't even know what to Google in there. This one is, I don't know. GC, let's see if we see what's on this sign right here. Signs are great. I love signs. What do we got? Something
that Piatone is.
All right, so let's do de Piatone. Let's see. Piatones. No, that's not going to work. Oh, wait. that didn't work. All right, GC, let's pick something here. Just jump in there. Choose a spot, and let's see what we got. And then, wait, there's another sign up here. Maybe we can get it.
To look at, yeah.
Yeah. What does this say? Oh, really? Come on. There we go. Zona Escolar. That's a school zone, right?
School zone.
Yeah. Mexico, for those of you that don't know, has these yellow background signs with a very thick arrow. Those of you that are over here in North America, our arrows are generally more thin than Mexico. So this is kind of a tell that we're in Mexico. All right. Let's go ahead. GC, go ahead and choose a spot. We're going to... Oh, and there's another Mexican flag over there. That's a good one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep. All right. 5, 4. There we go. We got 3,000. We were actually pretty darn close to it. Ah, right over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is us. Wow, look at that. It's right on time, too. Perfect. So we got 18,000 points together as a team. Look at that. Each one of us actually picked up some really good points there. And yeah, Richard, the baseball field did have a name. I just didn't feel like typing it all in there because I'd be back and forth. And we got 18,000 points. I think we did terrific.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, everybody. And thanks for playing that with me. Now, if you want to play Geoguessr, you don't have to do Bullseye. You can just do it by yourself. I like doing it with my family because it's just fun. It's learning the world. You learn these cool tips and tricks. I've been playing with my daughter, and we are up to a country streak of 138, I think, countries in a row. We've been playing across months, though, so not all in one session. All right. Well, that is the end of our live stream here now, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen, it's been a pleasure spending some time with you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been great to be here and with everybody. This is fun. I forget how addictive Geoguessr is. Like, you get really into it and time just goes.
Yep. Time does go by. I like doing this because like I can play with my daughter and she can be like, I think we're here, and then I'll say, okay, well, you guess, and then I'll refine it, and it's actually quite fun. So if you are tuning in for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel, following us on Twitter and on LinkedIn. We will be back here in probably about a month, and we'll be doing another live stream to bring you the latest in OSINT news, tools, techniques, and strategies. I'm Micah Hoffman, and I want to say thank you for sharing your time with us. Thanks for participating, and stay OSINT curious. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.